Hello, and welcome back. I've made a handful of videos on TV shows that I enjoy and recommend. Similar to what we're going to do then, we're going to make a list of movies and I'll try my best to group them together into categories that make sense. If you guys have maybe seen some of these movies before and have others to recommend, please leave a comment down below because I'm always looking for something new to watch. Let's get started. Alright, I've placed these movies into groupings of my own making. I know there are modern day movie genres I can sort these by, but then, what's the fun in that? Again, these groupings of movies are just my own opinion, and if you got anything to share or correct, definitely let me know. So first off, we have the high-octane action and speed movies. These usually have an element of fast cars, a cool heist job, or stylish fight scenes, and mostly pure adrenaline. This group includes movies such as The Italian Job, literally any of the Ocean movies from 2001 to 2018, any of the Indiana Jones except for Crystal Skull, because that's a really bad one, Speed Racer, The Dark Knight 2008, Kick-Ass, Catch Me If You Can, Kingsman, and Hardcore Henry. A special note about Hardcore Henry is that it's one of the very few movies that are entirely shot in POV, so it makes the fight scenes extra cool when you see it from literally the guy's perspective. Next up is the apocalyptic / dystopian / sci-fi adventure category. These films feature futuristic landscapes, end-of-the-world survival, and somewhat a grand quest. Films that are in this category are Mad Max, specifically The Road Warrior from 1981, John Carpenter's The Thing, Clash of the Titans, I, Robot, I Am Legend, City of Embers, the very first Transformers, Snowpiercer, Ready Player One, John Carter, any of the Lord of the Rings movies, and of course, number 9. The next section I like to call stylish auteur cinema. These are films where I notice directors with very distinct styles and unique storytelling methods. I know for a fact that there are a lot of other directors out there for me to discover and find, so if you guys have any in mind that come up during this section, please let me know. First off, pretty sure everyone knows this one, Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, followed by Ethan and Joel Coen's The Big Lebowski, Fight Club, directed by David Fincher. Of course, I'm going to mention a Wes Anderson flick, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Tarantino again with Inglourious Basterds, Fury by David Ayer, The Prestige by Christopher Nolan himself. A friend once described this movie as a death battle between two street magicians, and I think that's a perfect explanation. And last but definitely not least, Constantine, starring Keanu Reeves, directed by Francis Lewis. And these next 3 movies aren't a part of this category, but I would hate not to mention them in this video in general. Simon Pegg not only starred in these 3 movies, but also wrote the screenplay for these 3 movies. These movies are The World's End, Hot Fuzz, and Shaun of the Dead. 3 very, very funny movies that I recommend to anyone to watch if you haven't seen it yet. Alright, going back to the list, these movies are just hilarious movies that I always find myself laughing a lot when I watch them. These are self-aware, sometimes fourth wall breaking, but mostly have a lot of chaotic humor that I love. The movies on this list are Black Dynamite, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Hot Tub Time Machine, This Is the End, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and Kunk on Life.
Ha! I threw that shit before I walked in the room! Dynamite! 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 Dynamite!
This next section is going to be the weird, surreal, and experimental movies. These are movies that I feel like I'm having a fever dream or nightmare when I'm watching them. Movies in this category are The Fly and Videodrome, both directed and created by David Cronenberg. I have a video on this director, very, very respected director, and he basically wrote the playbook for body horror. Definitely check that out if you're into that type of genre. Following that, we have The Substance, Mad God, Hundreds of Beavers. I know this one may not be scary, but it's definitely weird and experimental. Apocalypse Now, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Following this, we got the feel-good, inspirational, and whimsical. A little something to counteract those weird, surreal vibes. These movies are heartwarming, uplifting, or visually mesmerizing. These are like any Studio Ghibli films, literally any back from 1984 to the present, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Green Book, Real Steel, Meet the Robinsons, The Untouchables, and The Remarkable Life of Evelyn. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And rounding off our list, this is the very last section. This is just animated fun with energy and a lot of attitude. These are animated movies that I've seen that are lively, fast-paced, and are honestly full of so much personality within the art style and the story itself. Movies in this category are Treasure Planet, Surf's Up, The Nut Job, The Iron Giant, Wall-E, Robots, Vampire Hunter D, Red Line, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and Monster House. I have a quick little need to watch section, as these are on my radar for movies I want to watch next. Good Will Hunting, The Godfather series, City of God, and The Hunt. Please let me know if you guys have any recommendations or any alterations to this list. And as always, my name is Kevin, and I like to talk about things that I find interesting. Thank you, and take care.